The following special program is brought to you by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. More protection, less process. Florida Water Services Corporation, preserving water for Florida's future. And the Trust for Public Land, conserving land for people.
Hello, I'm Governor Jeb Bush. No matter where you're from, if Florida is your home, you know it is one of the most beautiful places on earth. But how much do you really know about Florida's priceless and fragile environment? And what can we do to protect it? Learning more about Florida's ecosystem adds to your ecology quotient, or EQ. What's your EQ? Let's find out. The program you're about to see is a simple, informative, and entertaining way to learn more about safeguarding our natural inheritance. It's a simple test, the Florida Environmental Test. See how well you and your family score as good environmental citizens. Together, we can make a difference and preserve our natural heritage for generations to come. Thank you, and enjoy the program.
Florida is one of the world's most popular vacation destinations because of our year-round good climate and rich array of natural treasures. Every part of the Sunshine State is blessed with special wonders from one end of the state to the other. You can see it in the wind-whipped waves lapping gently against some of the nation's best sun-drenched beaches. You can hear it through miles of primitive mangrove and cypress forests, timeless guardians of an endless sea of emerald green grass. You can feel it from the blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean to the backwaters of the state's rivers, lakes, and swamps. The heart of Florida is its natural treasures. How much do you know about how you can help preserve and protect natural Florida? What's your EQ, your ecology quotient? Find out and get ready for the Florida Environment Test.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Hurst, and one of the best things I like about Florida is the beauty that surrounds us. Sunshine all year, spectacular miles of beaches, woodlands, and forests. Over the next half hour, we'd like to see what your EQ is by taking the Florida Environment Test. But first, a little background about what makes our environment so special.
This is Florida, Spanish for land of flowers. The explorer Ponce de Leon gave the name in 1513 when he first saw this mysterious, strange, and tropical paradise. At the time, Florida was home to diverse ecosystems that impressed even the early explorers. Thousands of bird and animal species and uncounted plant varieties all mixed together in this lush landscape. Florida is unique in other ways too. Despite miles of water on three sides of this peninsula, Florida also houses water beneath the ground, in caves and caverns that are intricately connected, creating the largest aquifer in Florida, called the Floridan Aquifer. The increased demand for new development, more housing, and providing services to a growing population all have placed high demands on our environment and our water supply. As Florida continues to grow, it becomes even more critical to balance the demands of our citizens with the needs of our environment. How carefully we manage a healthy balance in our environment will determine our quality of life for generations to come. All of us depend on a healthy environment, and each of us must work to protect it.
When we come back, we'll begin the Florida Environment Test with some multiple choice questions that will help you learn to do your part to help Florida. So grab a pen or pencil and some paper, and we'll be right back. Whether you've just moved to Florida or were born and raised here, our simple test can help you learn to be a better environmental citizen. Children and adults, all you have to do is answer our 10 simple questions. And here's a tip. Some of the questions may have more than one right answer. And don't worry, you can't fail this test because we'll go over all the right answers later in our program. So let's get started, and good luck.
Question number 1. Every living thing needs water to survive. It is essential to all life. What is the primary source of Florida's drinking water? Is it A, rivers, B, groundwater, C, reservoirs, or D, lakes? Question number 2. Which of the following are the primary sources of pollution for Florida's drinking water? Is it A, fertilizers and pesticides, B, urban and agriculture stormwater runoff, C, oil spills, or D, all of the above? Question number 3. Why should we work so hard to protect the Florida panther? Is it A, to maintain balance in the ecosystem, B, to protect smaller animals, C, to prevent deer from overgrazing the land, or D, to regulate the food chain? Question number 4. The manatee is Florida's marine mammal, a gentle giant that makes its home in our waterways. But only a few survive today. What is the single greatest known cause of manatee deaths in Florida? Is it A, shark attacks, B, boats and other watercraft, C, natural deaths, or D, floodgates, canal locks? Question number 5. What would you do if you came across a wild animal in distress? Would you A, try to help it yourself, B, leave it alone, C, notify the authorities, or D, bring it food and water? Question number 6. Why do land managers use prescribed fires or controlled burns? Is it A, to restore and maintain natural communities, B, to reduce the chances of destructive wildfires, C, to create habitats for Florida wildlife, or D, all of the above? Question number 7. How much energy is saved by recycling one aluminum can? A, enough to run a TV set for 3 hours, B, enough to pay one electric bill, C, enough to use your computer for 6 hours, D, enough to cook a turkey in your oven for 4 hours. Question number 8. Coral reefs are living underwater communities. How many years does it take a coral reef to develop? Is it A, 20 to 50 years, B, 100 to 500 years, C, 2,000 to 5,000 years, or D, 5,000 to 7,000 years? Question number 9. What is the main source of air pollution? Is it A, stationary sources, mainly industry, B, mobile sources, mainly cars, trucks, planes, and boats, C, landfills, or D, wildfires? Question number 10. Which of the following species is native to Florida? Is it A, Melaleuca, B, Grilla, C, American crocodile, or D, cane toad?
Well, those were the questions, and some were a bit harder than the others. How do you think you've scored? Well, we'll find out when we come back with the first set of answers to the Florida Environment Test.
Reclaimed water is wastewater that has been treated, disinfected, and tested so it can be reused for irrigation and other commercial purposes. In fact, wastewater treatment has become so advanced that companies like Florida Water Services are able to reuse nearly 100% of all the water they provide. By using reclaimed water in this way, we can preserve our underground aquifer supplies for drinking water.
Hi, I'm John Sorello, President of Florida Water Services. Ensuring that Florida has safe, reliable sources of drinking water now and into the future makes it crucial that we work together to conserve our water, protect our resources, and prevent pollution.
It's time now to begin checking your answers to the Florida Environment Test. Remember, the goal here is for you to learn more so we can all do a better job in protecting the environment. Now, let's begin looking at the answers.
Question number 1. Every living thing needs water to survive. It is essential to all life. What is the primary source of Florida's drinking water? Is it A, rivers, B, groundwater, C, reservoirs, or D, lakes? The answer is B, groundwater. Floridians literally walk on their drinking water supply. Statewide, below Florida's ground is a series of interconnected caves and caverns called aquifers. As more water is withdrawn from the aquifer, rainfall replaces it. But if there's a shortage of rainfall, saltwater intrusion can occur. In fact, it is very costly to remove salt from water in order to make it drinkable. Question number 2. Which of the following are the primary sources of pollution for Florida's drinking water? Is it A, fertilizers and pesticides, B, urban and agriculture stormwater runoff, C, oil spills, or D, all of the above? The answer is D, all of the above. Water collects numerous harmful elements and compounds, some naturally occurring and some man-made. Everything that is poured onto the ground or accidentally falls there has the potential of polluting our fresh drinking water supply. All of us can be more careful about our personal use of fertilizers, pesticides, and other potential pollutants. Whatever we put on our lawns today could wind up in our drinking water in the future. Question number 3. Why should we work so hard to protect the Florida panther? Is it A, to maintain balance in the ecosystem, B, to protect smaller animals, C, to prevent deer from overgrazing the land, or D, to regulate the food chain? The answer is A, C, and D. They maintain balance in the ecosystem, prevent deer from overgrazing, and regulate the food chain. Because panthers stalk and kill individual prey animals very selectively, they cull the sick and weak animals. This improves breeding, reduces disease, lowers the chance of passing on genetic defects, and recycles nutrients in the ecosystem. The panther's presence also keeps deer herds moving, preventing overgrazing. Question number 4. The manatee is Florida's marine mammal, a gentle giant that makes its home in our waterways. But only a few survive today. What is the single greatest known cause of manatee deaths in Florida? Is it A, shark attacks, B, boats and other watercraft, C, natural deaths, or D, floodgates, canal locks? The answer is B, watercraft. Over 30% of manatee deaths are attributed to watercraft propeller damage or impact. Observing speed zones and staying in marked channels all help reduce watercraft-related deaths. Basically, just staying aware that these gentle creatures are sharing the water with you will help you keep a careful lookout. For more information, you can contact Save the Manatee at www.savethemanatee.org or call 1-800-432-JOIN. Question number 5. What would you do if you came across a wild animal in distress? Would you A, try to help it yourself, B, leave it alone, C, notify the authorities, or D, bring it food and water? The answer is C, notify the authorities.
When you find an animal such as this alligator in distress, you need to notify the authorities.
Because the population of Florida is growing so much, your possibility of encountering an alligator is greater now than what it was in the past. If you happen to encounter injured wildlife, such as a bear, coyote, or a possum, do not approach it. You need to notify the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission or your local animal rehabilitator.
How are you doing so far on the Florida Environment Test? We'll be right back with the rest of the answers, so stand by.
Wildlife isn't confined to our state parks and conservation areas. In Florida, wildlife is all around us. And for many species, urban parks and greenways are their home. Trees and other vegetation help filter air and water pollution and give us a place to enjoy the outdoors. The Trust for Public Land is the only conservation group in the country devoted to conserving land for the people. The Trust has worked to protect more than 200 special places for people to enjoy.
Let's get back to the rest of the answers to our Florida Environment Test.
Question number 6. Why do land managers use prescribed fires or controlled burns? Is it A, to restore and maintain natural communities? B, to reduce the chances of destructive wildfires? C, to create habitats for Florida wildlife? Or D, all of the above? The answer is D, all of the above. The dangers and risks of wildfires have inspired new techniques to control lightning-caused fires as quickly as possible. Prescribed fires help preserve the natural burn cycle without exposing Florida to devastating wildfires like the ones that destroyed so much of Florida in 1998. Question number 7. How much energy is saved by recycling one aluminum can? A, enough to run a TV set for 3 hours? B, enough to pay one electric bill? C, enough to use your computer for 6 hours? D, enough to cook a turkey in your oven for 4 hours? The answer is A, enough to run a TV set for 3 hours. Nearly every community in Florida gives its residents the opportunity to recycle. But recycling does not end at our curb. To make it work, we need to look for and buy products that are made from recycled materials. By creating more of a demand for recycled products, we create more incentive for citizens to recycle. Question number 8. Coral reefs are living underwater communities. How many years does it take a coral reef to develop? Is it A, 20 to 50 years? B, 100 to 500 years? C, 2,000 to 5,000 years? Or D, 5,000 to 7,000 years? The answer is D, 5,000 to 7,000 years. Corals are unlike any other living creatures in the world. The Florida Reef Tract is the most extensive living coral reef system in North America and the third largest system in the world. Nearly 600 different species of marine life can inhabit a single reef. The rigidity of coral reefs helps protect the shoreline from storm waves. And because they house so many species, the reefs produce millions of dollars in revenue for local businesses. The deliberate recklessness of ship captains, boaters, divers, fishermen, snorkelers, and beachgoers has visibly damaged the reefs. When we visit these wondrous systems, we must remember not to touch the reefs with our hands or feet. A simple touch can kill these reefs. And when anchoring, make certain it is in the designated areas of the sanctuaries. Question number 9. What is the main source of air pollution? Is it A, stationary sources, mainly industry? B, mobile sources, mainly cars, trucks, planes, and boats? C, landfills? Or D, wildfires? The answer is A and B. Stationary sources and mobile sources contribute equally to Florida's air pollution. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and Florida's Department of Environmental Protection strictly regulate industrial pollution. Businesses need to practice good environmental citizenship in how they produce products and provide services. but all of us can help reduce pollution from our automobiles. Whenever possible, carpool or take public transportation. Question number 10. Which of the following species is native to Florida? Is it A. Melaleuca, B. Hydrilla, C. American crocodile, or D. cane toad? The answer is C. The American crocodile. As an endangered species, the crocodile must fight every day for survival.
One of the biggest problems Florida's native plants and animals face is displacement by escaped non-native or exotic wildlife and plants. Cultivated plants around homes, pet birds that escape from homes become established in the wild. They take nesting sites, they take areas where our birds and animals and plants normally occur and displace them. They're much more aggressive, oftentimes very strong competitors, and native wildlife and plants just can't compete and are forced out.
It doesn't matter if you missed one or more of the questions on the Florida Environment Test, because we all know more now than we did at the start of this program. And now that we're all better Florida environmental citizens, we can do a better job in protecting the Florida we all love. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Florida's great outdoors.
Hi, my name is David Struess, and I'm Secretary of Florida's Department of Environmental Protection. Part of my job is enforcing Florida's environmental laws, but it's everyone's job to be a good environmental citizen, and I'd like to thank you for doing your part. Florida has a remarkable environment and some very special assets. I'd like for you to learn more about them and invite you to visit our website at myflorida.com. Thanks for joining us.
The preceding special program has been brought to you by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. More protection, less process. Florida Water Services Corporation, preserving water for Florida's future. And the Trust for Public Land, conserving land for people.